time for this week's Torah portion again, to continue in Deuteronomy 11 from 26 to 16 verse 17. And before I read, I'm just going to pray. Lord, thank you for every blessing you pour out. Thank you for this new day. I ask for your grace, your mercy. May you continue to guide us, and lead us, and preserve us from all evil. And may you open our eyes to see, may you open our ears to hear the things you want us to perceive and to know. And I ask for greater understanding and wisdom and revelation, and may your kingdom come and may your will be done. And I know you can do exceedingly above all I pray and ask in Yeshua's name. May you reveal to those listening what you want to reveal to them, and may you reveal to me in your word what you want to reveal to me. I pray in Yeshua's name. Amen. So from verse 26, Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and the curse if you will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside from the way which I command you this day to go after other gods which you have not known. And when the Lord your God has brought you into the land which you go to possess, you shall set the blessing on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond the Jordan, west of the road, where the sun goes down, in the land of the Canaanites, living in the Arabah, opposite Gilgal, besides the oaks or terebinths of Merah? For you are to cross over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God gives you, and you shall possess it and live in it. And you shall be watchful to do all the statutes and ordinances which I set before you this day. These are the statutes and ordinances which you shall be watchful to do in the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, gives you to possess all the days you live on the earth. You shall surely destroy all the places where the nations who dispossess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and the hills, under every green tree. You shall break down their altars and dash in pieces their pillars and burn their asherim with fire. You shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy their name out of that place. You shall not behave so toward the Lord your God, but you shall seek the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name and make his dwelling place, and there shall you come. And there you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and your offerings of your free hands and your vows and your fuel offerings, and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice in all to which you put your hand, you and your household in which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do according to all we do here in the camp this day, every man doing whatever looks right in his own eyes, for you have not yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which the Lord your God gives you. But when you go over the Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God causes you to inherit, and gives you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name and his presence to dwell there. To it you shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and what the hand presents as a first gift from the fruits of the ground, and all your choicest offerings which you vow to the Lord. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and your daughters, and your maidservants and your maidservants, and the Levite that is within your towns, since he has no part or inheritance with you. Be watchful not to offer your burnt offerings in every place you see, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of your tribes, there There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all I command you. However, you may kill and eat flesh in any of your towns whenever you desire, according to the provision for the support of life, with which to the Lord your God has blessed you. Those ceremonially unclean and the clean may eat of it as of the gazelle, the hart. Only you shall not eat blood, you shall pour it out the ground as water. You may not eat within your towns the tithe of your grain, or of your new wine, or of your oil, or the firstling of your herd or flock, or anything you have vowed, or your freewill offerings, or the offerings from your hand of garden products. But you shall eat them before the Lord your God in the place which the Lord your God shall choose, you and your son and your daughter, your manservant and your maidservant, and the Levite that is within your towns, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all that you undertake, and take heed not to forsake or neglect the Levite, God's minister, as long as you live in your land, when the Lord your God enlarges your territory as he promised you, and you say, I will eat flesh, because you crave flesh, you may eat flesh whenever you desire. If the place where the Lord your God has chosen to put his name and presence is too far from you, then you shall kill from your herd or flock which the Lord has given you, as I, Moses, have commanded you. Eat in your town as much as you desire. Just as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so you may eat of it, but not of it. The unclean and the clean alike may eat of it. Only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life, and you may not eat the life with its flesh. You shall not eat it. You shall pour it out on the earth like water. You shall not eat it, that all may go well with you and with your children after you, when you do what is right in the sight of the Lord. Only your holy things which you have to offer and what you have vowed you shall take, and go to the place before the sanctuary which the Lord shall choose, and offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord your God, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out on the altar of the Lord your God, and you may eat the flesh. Be watchful and obey all these words which I command you, that it may go well with you and with your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. But the Lord your God cuts off before you the nations whom you go to dispossess, and you dispossess them and live in their land. Be watchful that you are not ensnared into following them after they have been destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? We will do likewise. So, you shall not do so to the Lord your God, for every abominable thing which the Lord hates they have done for their gods, for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. Whatever I command you, be watchful to do it. You shall not add to it or diminish it. If a prophet arises among you, or a dreamer of dreams, and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder he foretells to you comes to pass, and if he says, let us go after other gods, gods you have not known, and let us serve them, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or to that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your mind, heart, and with your entire being. You shall walk after the Lord your God, and reverently fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cling to him. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has talked a rebellion and turned away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage that man has tried to draw you aside from the way in which the Lord your God commanded you to walk. So shall you put the evil away from your midst. If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, who is as your own life, entices you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, gods you have not known, you nor your fathers, of the gods of the peoples who are round about you, near you or far away from you, from one end of the earth to the other, you shall not give consent to him, or listen to him, nor shall you eye pity him, nor shall you spare him or conceal him, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. And you shall stone him to death with stones, because he has tried to draw you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. And all Israel shall hear and reverently fear, and shall never again do any such wickedness as this among you. If you hear it said in one of your cities which the Lord your God has given you in which to dwell, that certain base fellows have gone out from your midst and have enticed away the inhabitants of the city, saying, Let us go and serve other gods you have not known, then you shall inquire and make sure and ask diligently, and behold, if it is true and certain that such an abominable thing has been done among you, you shall surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all who are in it, and its beasts with the edge of the sword. And you shall collect all its spoil into the midst of its open square, and shall burn the city with fire, with every bit of spoil as a whole burnt offering to the Lord your God. It shall be as a heap of ruins forever, it shall not be built again, and nothing of the cursed thing shall cling to your hand, so that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and show you mercy, and have compassion on you, and multiply you as he swore to your fathers. If you obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep all his commandments, which I command you this day, to do what is right in the sight of the Lord your God. You are the sons of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves or make any baldness on your foreheads for the dead. For you are a holy people, set apart to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a peculiar people to himself above all the nations on the earth. You shall not eat anything that is abominable to the Lord, and so forbiddable by him. These are the beasts which you may eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, the gazelle, the roebuck, the wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, the mountain sheep, and every beast that passed hoof and has its divided into two, and brings up and chew the cud among the beasts you may eat. Yet these you shall not eat of those that chew the cud or have the hoof split in two, the camel, the hare, the coney, because they chew the cud but divide not the hoof, they are unclean for you. And the swine, because it parts the hoof but does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. You shall not eat of their flesh or touch the dead bodies. These you may eat of all that are in the waters. Whatever has fins and scales you may eat, and whatever has not fins or scales you may not eat. It is unclean for you. Of all clean birds you may eat it. But those are the ones which you shall not eat: the eagle, the vulture, the osprey, the buzzbird, the kite in its several species, the raven and all its species, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, the hawk of any variety, the little owl, the great owl, the horned owl, the pelican, the Korean vulture, the cormorant, the stork, the heron of any variety, the hoopoe, and the bat, and all flying insects are unclean for you. They shall not be eaten, but of all clean winged things you may eat. You shall not eat of anything that does of itself. You may give it to the stranger or the foreigner who is in your towns, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to an alien. They are not under God's law in this matter, but you are a people holy to the Lord your God. You shall not even boil a kid in his mother's milk. You shall surely tithe all the yield of your seed produced by your field each year. You shall eat before the Lord your God in a place in which he will cause his name and his presence to dwell. The tithe, the tenth of your grain, your new wine, your oil, and the firsting of your herd and your flock, that you may learn reverently to fear the Lord your God always. And if the distance is too long for you to carry your tithe, or the place where the Lord your God chooses to set his name, and the presence is too far away for you, when the Lord your God has blessed you, then you shall turn it into money, and bind up the money in your hand, and shall go to the place of the worship which the Lord your God has chosen. And you may spend that money for whatever your appetite craves, for oxen or for sheep, for new wine or for strong drink, or whatever you desire, and you shall eat there before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice, you and your household, and you shall not forsake or neglect the Levite, God's minister, in your towns, for he has been given no share or inheritance with you. At the end of every 3 years you shall bring forth all the tithe of your increase the same year, and lay it within your towns. And the Levite, cause he has no part or inheritance with you, and the stranger or temporary resident, and the fatherless one, the widow who are in your towns, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands that you do. At the end of every 7 years you shall grant a release, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release which he has lent to his neighbor. He shall not exact it of his neighbor, his brother, for the Lord releases is proclaimed. For the Lord's release is proclaimed. Of a foreigner you may exact it, but whatever of yours is with your brother Israelite you shall release. But there will be no poor among you, for the Lord will surely bless you in the land which the Lord your God gives you for inheritance to possess. If only you carefully listen to the voice of the Lord your God, to do watchfully all these commandments which I command you this day. When the Lord your God blesses you, and as he has promised you, then you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. You shall rule over many nations, but you shall not rule, but they shall not rule over you. If there is among you a poor man, one of the king's men, in any of the towns of your land which the Lord your God gives you, you shall not harden your minds and hearts, or close your hands to your poor brother. But you shall open your hands wide to him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need in whatever he lacks. Beware lest there be a base thought in your minds and hearts, and say, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and your eye be evil against your poor brother, and you give him nothing, and he cry to the Lord against you, and it be sin in you. You shall give to him freely without begrudging it. Because of this the Lord will bless you in all your work and in all you undertake. For the poor will never cease out of the land. Therefore I command you, you shall open wide your hands to your brother, to your needy, and to the poor in your land. And if your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you and serves you 6 years, then the 7th year you shall let him go free from you. And when you send him out free from you, you shall not let him go away empty-handed. You shall furnish him liberally out of your flock, your threshing floor, and your winepress. Of what the Lord your God has blessed you, you shall give him. And you shall earnestly remember that you were a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. Therefore I give you this command today. But if the servant says to you, I will not go away from you, because he loves you and your household, since he does well with you, then take an awl and pierce his ear through to the door, and he shall be your servant always. And also to your bondwoman you shall do likewise. It shall not seem hard to you when you let him go free from you, for at half the cost of a hired servant he has served you 6 years, and the Lord your God will bless you in all you do. All the firstling males that are born of your herd and flock you shall set apart for the Lord your God. You shall not work with the firstling of your herd, nor shear the firstling of your flock. You shall eat it before the Lord your God annually in a place of worship which the Lord shall choose, you and your household. But if it has any blemish, if it is lame, blind, or has any bad blemish whatsoever, you shall not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. You shall eat it within your towns. The ceremonially unclean and clean alike may eat it, as if it were a gazelle or a hart. Only you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it on the ground like water. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover to the Lord your God. For in the month of Abib the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night. You shall offer the Passover sacrifice to the Lord your God from the flock or the herd, in the place where the Lord will choose to make his name and his presence dwell. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread. The bread of affliction. For you fled from the land of Egypt in haste, that all the days of your life you may earnestly remember the day when you came out of Egypt. No leaven shall be seen with you in all your territory for 7 days, nor shall any of the flesh which you sacrifice the first day at the evening be left all night until the morning. You may not offer the Passover sacrifice within any of your towns which the Lord your God gives you, but at the place which the Lord your God will choose, in which to make his name and his presence dwell, there you shall offer the sacrifice, the Passover sacrifice, in the evening at sunset, at the season that you came out of Egypt. And you shall roast or boil and eat it in the place which the Lord your God will choose. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. For 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread. And on the 7th day there shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord your God. You shall do no work on it. You shall count 7 weeks, beginning to the number the 7th week from the time you begin to put the sickle to the standing grain. Then you shall keep the feast of weeks to the Lord your God with a tribute of a freewill offering from your hand, which you shall give to the Lord your God, as the Lord your God blesses you. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you, your son, and your daughter, and your maidservant, and your maidservant, and the Levite who is within your town, and the stranger or temporary resident, the fatherless and the widow who are among you at the place in which the Lord your God chooses to make his name and his presence dwell. And you shall earnestly remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and you shall be watchful and obey these statutes. You shall observe the Feast of Tabernacles or Booths for 7 days after you have gathered in from your threshing floor and the vine fat. You shall rejoice in your feast, you, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, the Levite, the transit, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow who are within your towns. For 7 days you shall keep a solemn feast to the Lord your God in the place which the Lord chooses, because the Lord your God will bless you in all your produce and in all your works of your hands, so that you will be altogether joyful. These 3 times a year shall all your males appear before the Lord your God in a place which he chooses, at the feast of unleavened bread, at the feast of weeks, and of the feast of tabernacles or booths. They shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. There is so much in this. Thank you, Lord, for your word. I praise you. I thank you, Abba Father, for your goodness, your mercy, for every blessing. And may you continue with your spirit to reveal to me things you want to reveal to me. And to others listening, Father, may you bless them also, Lord. I pray for those, Lord, who have blessed me, Father, with things to do ministry, even if it was a little, Father, and for the big things also, Father. I pray you bless them, Father. And you ultimately is the great one and my reward, and the great King who I work for and labor for, Father. So I thank you for that, Lord. And I pray for healing, I pray for deliverance, and I pray it in Yeshua's name.